Hello everyone, I am Plankara, and welcome to my universe. Today, we're going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. Starting to work my way down the strands of hair, all the way to the ends, now that the roots are pretty much done. I just noticed a couple of things right up here that I want to adjust very slightly. I'm going to adjust these two layers together, if I can get away with it. We shall see if I can. Just kind of wanted to drag this and the shadowed part just a little bit further this way. Kind of felt like it was maybe moving up a little bit too much. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Still need to get the shape just right, but the idea, I think, is good. So let's make those little shape adjustments now. Just go in there, make the top a little bit rounder, the bottom a little bit flatter, that kind of thing. Let's see how it goes in and attaches here. Yeah, in theory. In theory, that should be good. That's how it is. Alright, and then once I figure out exactly how all this is gonna go, it still needs a little bit of work, I think. But once it's all good, then I will revisit the tips, because I noticed some things that I wasn't quite happy with there as well. Just the those little extra strands coming off the end there. They don't look quite right yet. I think the me of yesterday was just getting really tired. That tends to be how it goes. By the end, I am generally pretty tired. There's a lot of little details that go into properly rigging something, so it's never too surprising that I'm pretty tired by the time I stop. And I remember that yesterday I worked on this strand coming out up over the bang because I was too tired to do anything more serious, so I am not at all surprised that there's a few shenanigans I need to fix up. It's like the upside to pushing myself a little bit harder is that I do tend to get a little bit more done. The downside is that it's not always the way I want it to be. It's not always my best. When you get tired by the end. But it's okay, I think I did a pretty solid first pass on that. Pretty solid first pass on the bottom there, and now I can just kind of go clean up the remains. I just want this part up here to look really, really good, because it's the areas right next to the face, and the areas next to the face are the most important. So I like to spend a little bit more time with them, really making sure that they look exactly as I want them to. Because everybody will be looking at her face. And any little mistakes that I make will be magnified that much more, just because everybody will be looking in this area. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it sounds like a lot of pressure, but it's really not that bad. Let's see, it's still a little bit squirmier than I want it to be. I was hoping that this would just be a quick adjustment, but it looks like it's going to be a little bit more in-depth. Just making sure that the areas around here don't squirm so much. It's like I am changing the shape of the highlight a little bit, and that's intentional. But I don't want it to squirm quite this hard while I do that. After all, too much squirming would just be very distracting. Alright, I do think it's looking much better than it did before. So that's a plus. Now I just need to fix up the shadow underneath here. There's this little dark area. And right now it's a little bit too prominent. So I'm gonna go kind of hide it underneath a little bit more. Have it show a little bit more up here because that's how it looks on the front view before the head starts turning, and a little bit less near the bottom, just like how it is in the front. And I do want a little bit more of the shadow showing because we are seeing a little bit more of the underneath here, so I think that'll look pretty good if I can get it to if I can find the right ratio of showing the shadow versus hiding it. Still feel like there's some stuff sliding around here. I'm actually going to take a look at how the mesh itself is moving. See if there's anything suspicious I can find here. Yes. Yes, there is. A little bit of suspicious movement that I can fix up. It's probably related to why I haven't quite been able to get this area to look the way I want it to. See, this is why I do corrections first thing when I start, because my brain is fresh, it's not tired, and that's going to make it extra nitpicky. When it's extra nitpicky, I can find all the problems, fix them, and let everything I make just be that much better because of it. Highly recommend it. See, this is why I can never finish anything in a day. I always like to sit on it. I think Inktober, now that that has started, is going to be a bit wild for me because I'm going to finish it in a day, upload it the same day, and never look at it again. And then I imagine, well, I say never look at it again, but never look at it with the same critical eye again. Never edit it again. And so, seeing how all that works out is going to be interesting. This runs contrary to how my process has been, but I think it's necessary in order for me to actually be able to upload something every day. And honestly, it's a little bit scary. I am perhaps a little nervous about uploading stuff that I only spend an hour drawing. I guess it wouldn't be the first time, though. I remember when I was having some pretty nasty art block a few... man, it's probably been a couple of years since the time that I'm thinking of. And, I still uploaded something every week, and it was generally something I put together in just a couple of hours. But I think even those I spent more than one or 2 hours on. Some of them were pretty cool. Very weird and painterly, whereas I'm going for more of an ink style with what I'm going to do for Inktober in order to, I guess, fit with the initial purpose. I kind of want to honor what the challenge was initially with the stylistic choices that I make. I'm just a guy that wanted to work on his ink drawings. So I think this will be interesting. We'll see if it speeds up my process any. If I'm being honest, I kind of doubt it will. Just because I don't feel like the part that I'm slow on is getting my ideas down. It's the polishing. Because I'm just very particular about how I want things to look. And I don't think basically skipping the entire polishing step isn't going to do much to change my process. If anything, I suppose it might just, if I'm lucky, make me feel less weird about posting works in progress or unfinished pictures, or even just doing more quick drawings. And I think that's a win. Although, no, what I actually think it's going to do a lot for is helping me with video creation. Because I intend to record and upload a video for each and every one of these two. And I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. I probably won't do a video same day. Like, I'll probably gather them up and post them all on, like, Saturday or Monday. The days where the grandparents take my kids. Sorry, hiccup there. But yeah, the days where the grandparents take the kids, and I have a lot more free time to work on these things. So that's the part I'm excited about, and the part that kind of convinced me to take part in this challenge. So here we go. Let's do art every day, guys. And I hope if you have any interest in learning how to draw, I hope you'll join me too. And even if you don't have any interest in learning how to draw, if you have another creative project that you're working on, I hope that you will take this time to work on it a little bit every day as well. I'll make a post in my community tab, and you can update everyone on progress that you've made or stuff that you've drawn, if you'd like. You can also post in the comments and link to your social media of choice where you upload your whatever it is that you're working on. And I'll be sure to take a look. I invite you to share your social media this month, or to show off the progress that you're going to make. So don't consider doing so to be spammy. It is an invitation. I want to see your stuff too. Alright, I think I'm getting closer to fixing up this strand here. I noticed that it looked like things were getting a little bit straight over here, so I just moved the entire bottom a little bit to the right. And I think that actually helped a lot. Everything is kind of sliding into place a little bit more easily now. Yeah. And see, once again, I was kind of paying attention to this black spot on her hair here. And now I'm following the curve all the way down. And then I'll worry about the tips again. The usual process that I take with this particular strand of hair. But I'm glad I noticed that little problem, because I think everything is coming together much more nicely now that I have solved it. As always, the first step is just noticing what the problem is. I do not know what's going on here now. I have clearly not completely figured it out. It's all good. Alright, let's see. Is this curve getting better here? I'm just going to ignore this twitching all over the place. I'm just following this nice little curve on the topmost part of the strand here. Yeah, and that's definitely doing better. Look at that. It's so nice. Only a couple of minor adjustments here, and then I can go worry about this squirmy guy. I'm not sure if I want to, but I suppose I should. It'd be kind of rude to ignore him, don't you think? Alright, there's just this part around this highlight right here that I don't quite like. So that's what I'm looking at now. Trying to see how I can fix up that highlight. Yeah. Maybe something like that. Maybe? Let me take a look here. Actually, I think there's some parts a little further up that need to go a little bit higher. I like the way these highlights are moving, but with the way the shadows underneath them are moving, it looks like they're being stretched. So let's adjust everything down here. And hope that gets me closer to getting this strand in the right place. Maybe that's exactly what the problem has been all this time. So far the strand isn't being nearly as bad as it was with the lower head turn. I would not call it a strand from hell just yet. But I do continue to be surprised at the issues that I find. Road always has a way of surprising me. Life always has a way of surprising me. It's okay, it keeps things interesting. I guess things would get a little bit boring if everything was always the same. Especially in my current circumstances where a lot of my time is highly regimented. Because there are so many things I want to do. And so many things that I have to do. And it can be hard to find time for it all. So I just divided my day up into chunks based on when my kids are awake. Because they come first. Alright. Looking good. Now I just gotta get the tip. Tip is being all kinds of stretched out. So I'm gonna send everything over here back up. Something like this, maybe. My nose is also getting a little bit itchy this morning. Although strangely enough, it's less my nose and more my cheek. Just always try not to put my hand in front of my face, because it makes my model freak out. These are the things I have learned from attempting to figure out how to properly puppeteer this little digital puppet. That's what I think of it as. They're just like puppets. Puppets that follow my head around. So I just use my head instead of my hand to make them move. Honestly, it's just kind of fascinating when you think about it. Technology is great. Let's just do so many weird things. Sometimes even just kind of pointless and fun things. I love it. I really do. Alright. There's still something over here that just does not seem quite right to me. Okay, I think I overdid it on the tip here. Let's actually take a look at the mesh and see what it can tell me. What secrets is the mesh holding today? Okay, so this one's gone way far down. And I probably want to do something like that, just based on what I was observing. Right now I'm less looking at the art and more just looking at the mesh, trying to get the general gist of where that's going. Because at this point I've gotten lost enough that I think this will help me kind of help guide me back to where I'm supposed to go. Getting lost is always a bit rough. We're just gonna pretend like the mesh is like a compass for now. Doesn't have to be totally perfect. But I want to use it to kind of help me get things back in the right direction. Because right now it's just so far off that, man, just looking around is making me dizzy. Okay. So I think this might end up stretching things out a little bit, but oh no, it actually looks pretty good. Excellent. I really was just a little bit lost. But now I feel like I have found my way once more. And I can just do some kind of small adjustments here and there. There we go. And then I can just figure out these weird strands that kind of go underneath here. But I think I have figured everything else out. Alright, cool. Let's look at the mesh for the rest of this. It was very helpful in figuring out what was wrong throughout up here. So maybe it'll be helpful in figuring out what is wrong on the strand here. Because oh boy, is it giving me a hard time. That's pretty normal. Let's be real, it's pretty normal that down here gives me the hardest time. This one doesn't tend to be that bad. But this one, I never know what's going on. It's fine, I'll figure it out. I believe in myself. Okay, I already feel like it's kind of coming together here, so... Just gonna grab the rest here, and... hopefully I can gradually get everything into place. I'm more so looking at the mesh than I am the art. I'll look at the art after. But right now I definitely just want to kinda get the big parts into place here. Like, 'cause, let's be real, I'm a little bit lost again. A little bit lost again, so I'll use the mesh itself to kind of help me figure out how these vertices are moving and why they are wrong. And where they should be instead. Am I trying to make everything too round again? That sounds like something I'd do. I guess this strand is just a little bit straighter than I thought it was. Well, that would explain why nothing was looking right. If everything is supposed to be a little bit straighter than I initially thought, then... indeed. That would mean that everything I was trying would be wrong, because I was trying to make everything round. Okay. A little bit better. Still not quite where I wanted, though. I find myself incredibly unsatisfied. LL would be devastated. Alright. Just kind of need to figure out these... yeah, like it's like right there. What is going on right there? What is going on right there? Okay, well I kind of guessed that. That this vertex needed to be a little bit higher up. But I guess these parts actually need to be a little bit lower down. It's like it's not that far off. So it's making it hard to find where I need to put these last little details. But I see them so clearly. And it's so annoying, because I don't know what's wrong. But I see the problem. Okay, I think this is fine. No, it's not. I lied. Okay. I definitely lied. It was fine all the way up until I looked at the bottom. Then everything was no longer fine. Was not fine at all. Should definitely be careful before I say such daring things as I think it's fine. This time I'm gonna look carefully. Is it fine? Is it? Are we good now? Not quite. It almost had me fooled. But there was shenanigans. Okay. How about now? Is everything good? The very tip, man. It's still not quite where I want it to be. A sad end to the music indeed. Alright. I feel like that was some good timing on the end there, just like me being like, no, it's not quite right still. It's okay. This time I can see the problem. I think it's literally just I need to raise this up a little bit. And I think everything else around this area looked okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Alright, so now I can actually start looking at the bang here. On the other side. We've done the front bang, we've done the left side, now we do the right side. This being her right, not mine. As is frigging convention. One that still bothers me immensely. It's like I have enough dyslexia without having to think about whose perspective I'm trying to think of here. Okay. So I know things aren't going to be quite right on the tip there, but I'm trying to get this shadow and this highlight going before I worry about things too far down that way. Because I think it is both a good place to start and something that always gives me an immense amount of trouble. So I don't want to get too deep into what's going on down there. Heck yeah. Still not quite right, but I think it's a little bit better than it was. I'm gonna scroll down my layers a little bit. Have the one that I'm working on actually a little bit more in the middle so it's easier to find. This is another reason I like to hide layers at the beginning, because not only do I not see them, but in my layer list, they're much easier to find. And I already tend to get lost in all my layers. Speaking of, I'm gonna hide this one too. This way I can see what's going on here just a little bit more clearly. And here I was kind of feeling like some things were sliding down the strand a bit, so I'm trying to move them up again. I still find myself so happy that the hair is almost done. If I'm lucky, maybe I can actually finish this in like the next month or two. Because I do feel like the hair is just where the majority of the work was going to go. It's up on the head, it's very noticeable, and I really do feel like how the hair moves defines the quality of the head turns so strongly. That is just so important to get it all right. Alright, but I do feel like I'm getting somewhere. Look, I even feel like I can move a little bit further down here. And since I start top to bottom, this does indeed mean that progress is being made. My foot was falling asleep a bit there, so I just needed to adjust it a little bit. But now it's doing better. I feel the blood rushing back into my foot and it feels weird. I just think it's funny how so many ordinary bodily functions just feel so strange sometimes. Bodies are weird. I do think it's funny just the amount of completely counterintuitive things that are true about the human body. Just the sheer amount of complexity in it. My brain is still just thinking a lot about what I'm going to do for Inktober. I'm pretty excited about it. I've never participated in an art challenge like this. There's been a couple of times where I've thought about doing art fight, which is kind of just a thing about drawing people's original characters that goes on in, like, July. But July the past couple of years has just always been a bad time for me to get stuff done for one reason or another. Don't actually remember what I was doing in July here this time. I think it's more that by the time I remembered that this was something that was going on, that I just had lined up something else beforehand. But I can't actually remember what was stopping me this time. Maybe next year I'll do some stuff with that. Honestly, if art fight is something that you are interested in participating in or have done so in the past, let me know, and next year I will think about drawing your characters. That sounds like a good time. And I think part of it is also just that I don't have any recent drawings of a lot of my characters. Maybe I should do some design sheets. Because I really do like making those. It's a lot of fun. It's just often a little bit hard for me because I tend to go hard on figuring out character design once I know what setting I'm going to put the character in, and I adapt the design to the setting. I don't often just have this is roughly what they look like in my head. I should probably fix that. More things for me to think about. I think I'd like to do something like that, because taking a break from drawing a bunch of fandom stuff to actually spend some time drawing my own characters has been quite fulfilling. It's been really, really nice. It's like I hadn't done any role-playing for a while, and that tends to be what makes me want to draw my characters the most. And it's like I, strictly speaking, did do some recently in the past year, but during that time I was too busy preparing to start this live stream, actually. So a lot of the time that I might have put into drawing characters went into preparing for this. Totally worth it. But it did mean that I didn't draw characters like I normally would. So that sounds fun too. And then maybe sometime I can introduce them into various places. I've also been loosely working on a comic idea that I'm not sure if I'm going to draw or not. But there hasn't been too much to talk about yet. It's still kind of flowing through my head, and I'm trying to put in enough of the details to actually say stuff. But if I actually do go through it, you can bet that there's going to be a ton of design sheets for that. Probably some templates and stuff that I can steal from to make actually doing week-to-week drawing of the comic easier. Honestly, with the speed I work at, I'm not even sure if I could handle weekly updates. So I might go for a different update schedule, but you know, all that stuff is so far into the future. I need to actually, like, refine the idea, finish the characters, start drawing things, start writing things down, figure out the story. That is one thing that is definitely true now that I've read a lot more comics, and that the story is way more important than the art. I can think of some comics that don't have good art, but have a good story, you know, especially with, like, stick figure comics and the like. But I cannot think of any that have good art, but a bad story. Literally, I cannot think of one that's popular. It's like I wouldn't say the art doesn't matter, but it's much less important than having a good story. So that's where I'm putting most of my thoughts into it. And if I do manage to collect my thoughts enough to get something going, I'll be sure to talk about it all the time. I guarantee you will not be able to get me to shut up. But that's going to take some time, because a lot of my latent thoughts tend to just go into, what can I do to improve the stream? Or, what are some video ideas that I have? Because I do have several. I've just been dealing with some health issues that makes it a little bit hard for me to do these things. Makes me a little bit worried about Inktober 2, to be honest, but I'm gonna give it a try anyway. Worst that can happen is that I don't do the full 31 days. And if that's the worst that can happen, well, there's not much to lose, is there? At least for the days that I do, there will be new art and possibly new videos. I'm very excited about it. Kind of looking forward to getting something to eat and then diving right in. And what do you know? Music ends on a more optimistic note this time. Funny coincidences. Whoa. Hand getting way too excited there. Just want to do some very slight movements here, and oh man, that got super blobby, but it's okay. I'll fix it when the time comes. I'm just trying to get some of this movement relative to some of these other areas looking a little bit more correct here. Because I feel like I have to slide everything just a little bit further upward. I went into mesh mode because I got lost again, but it seems I might have gone a little bit too far with it. Just trying to be very gentle here. Don't want to move things too far. They're pretty close to being right, so moving things too far would... well, that just would make things not look right. And that's just no good, you know? I actually think I want to take, like, all the vertices down here. And just push them upward just a tiny, tiny bit. Kind of felt like this wasn't... the end wasn't moving up with her head very well. And then I just need to, you know, fix it and make it better. Oh yeah, that already looks a little bit better. Oh man, am I actually going to finish these bangs in just a couple of days? Like, all of them. All the bangs. Oh, that'd be so nice. Because if I can get the bangs done quickly, that means that the rest is probably going to go even more quickly. Because not only are they not showing quite as much because her head is being tilted back and the hair area is just smaller, but they're in areas that are a little bit easier to deal with and do not require as much precision. So they should, in theory, go faster. That has been true when I was working on the roots, so... oh, that would make me so happy. Because I am so ready to work on stuff besides hair. It's just been all hair all the time. For like weeks now. Just because the hair is the most complicated part on this model. And I will be so happy if I can be free from it. Alright, well, so far so good. Let's get in there and start putting the finishing touches on this guy. It's like, man, I wasn't expecting to potentially finish this strand today. That's very exciting. Alright, I think I moved this little bit up just a little bit too far. See, I kind of have to zoom out in order to look at whether this part looks right. Because the idea right now is that there's just certain parts through here that don't look like they're moving up as much as the head is. And like they're being stretched out a little bit instead of moving. So I'm going back through and trying to correct those spots. The ones that just aren't quite right. But there's less and less of them every time I go poke it, so I do feel like things are going well. And actually, I think that much like the other side that I was working on here, I think that I might just need to pull all of this slightly further out. And that's probably contributing to why some of the angles over here just do not seem to ever be right. Yeah, I think that actually helped a lot. I'm just looking at all the strands of hair here again and reminding myself, oh, I am looking forward to putting hair physics onto this. Complicated hair is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's complicated and makes head turns take forever. But on the other hand, when it comes time for physics, I gotta have so much to play with. It's gonna be wonderful. I am so excited to see how all of that's gonna shake out. Oh, well, the pun wasn't intended, but I will own my pun. Gonna make it shake so much. It's gonna be great. And I can't get ahead of myself. It's like... Still have the up head turn. I have some corrections and perfections I want to put on all the head turns. A lot of those are not... The corrections I want to make are not actually necessarily hair. But let's be real. The hair is like half of her head here, so a lot of it is hair. And so I want to go fix that up. Just really put the polish onto the cardinal directions. And then it's the corners. And then physics time. I haven't really had a chance to look too much and do a bunch of experiments with tracking. So that will, with Inktober being here, will probably not happen before the end of October. But it should happen before the end of this model. I get the feeling that I will not be able to do the entirety of the head changes that I want to make and the body before October is over. So I might have some time to take a look at it just after Inktober is done. Or who knows, maybe I'll look into it a little without doing any proper experimentation, and just use this model to run experiments. I'll think about it. Because I don't really know what to expect, but I would absolutely love to learn more about the tracking end. There's still some weird squirming going on here. I'm gonna adjust what I saw out this outer end here. And then I think I'm gonna go look at the mesh to help me figure out what's going on there. Okay, looks like it's just the end of the triangle here. Good, I didn't have to pull any shenanigans at all. So hopefully that fixed the problem. Not quite, actually. I fixed at the bottom, fixed what I was looking at there. So that was good news. But things are still squirming a bit up here. Okay. I think I just gotta get these areas to move more relative to how everything else around them is moving. Okay. I'm gonna take things slow for a second to do some seriously intense staring. The most intense staring you could ever want. I could probably win a staring contest with my cat. I say my cat, but I don't actually have any cats right now. A cat. My husband is unfortunately allergic to cats, so once the cats that I did have passed away, we did not get new ones. I'm a little bit sad. I kind of miss having cats, but it's okay. I don't really want him to suffer through that, and I think my kids would still do a number on any poor animal I brought into the house right now. Maybe when they're a little older we can revisit that idea. And I'm just like, oh no, did I not get this spot quite as good as I thought I did? Noticed a little bit of sliding. And that is a very much oh no moment. No, I think it's fine. It's fine. Okay, maybe it's not fine, but it's not the area that I thought it was where the problem is. So I'll take that. Just want to make sure that outer edge is looking good here. I feel like that's the important part here. The inner part I think is already looking mostly correct. I just wanted to fix out the outer edge. And maybe right there. Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Let's try that again. If anything, I should be pulling that out more that way. The way I'm doing things, it's possible that this little area may just not quite be able to get into a perfect spot. But overall, I think this actually looks pretty okay. I think I want to make just a quick little correction right over here on the transition. I can see why I liked it before, but I think the effect is a little bit too strong. So I'm just going to weaken it just a little bit. Not too much. Just a little bit. And then I can start working back toward the tip. That tends to be how it goes. Sometimes I notice a problem and I just want to go and fix it. Get everything to work out just perfectly for me. Okay, just gonna quietly... It's just looking a little bit wrinkly here right now, so kind of just want to fix that up a little. Do not want to have wrinkly hair. That would just be deeply, deeply unfortunate. Okay, there we go. That's a bit better. Huh, I never realized that I had that strand getting so much longer. I wonder how I never noticed. 'Cause that's not right. I probably had some vision at some point, but I don't know what happened. So we gotta slide this guy back up, because that's not right. That's just not right. So I'm confused on how I never noticed. But it'll be okay. I'll fix it all. Alright, getting there. I actually wanted to go a little bit higher because the head is turning upward, of course. So in theory, the strand should actually look a little bit shorter. Or no, it shouldn't look shorter. It should objectively be a little bit... No, not shorter, just higher. But yes, it should be a little bit higher up. To follow the shape of the head turn itself. Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. I'm very surprised that such a mistake was able to stay in the model for so long. And somehow I just never noticed it. How odd. Well, that happens sometimes. But it's okay. I found the issue in the end and I corrected it. That's all I can do. Cannot do anything about the mistake being made. All I can do is try to make it right. And perhaps learn from it. Okay. Just want to make the curve through here a little bit stronger than it currently was. Kind of looked like it was collapsing in on itself for a second there. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let's go back down to the tip here. The area that I was looking at before. I'm gonna want to go eat soon, but I think I am determined to try to get this tip finished. I am looking at it with the utmost tenacity. So I think I can do it. I think I can get it done. It's like I'm almost there. I mean, look how close this all is. Most of it is honestly pretty straightforward. The problems, that is. There's only a few left. And I think I can get them, and I think I can make everything look good. And then I can go into my first October drawing feeling good about myself. Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? Being able to go into new territory with a nice little feeling in my chest of getting through a potentially difficult strand. Although, man, it really cooperated with me very well this time. I was surprised. I was figuring that these strands would just be very hellish again. But they were kind. I shouldn't have doubted them. I'm sorry, little strands. Thanks for letting me have such a good time today. Being understanding. But indeed, there's still a little bit left, and I shouldn't underestimate it. So far it's going well, but how long will that last? That's always the question, isn't it? Alright. Oh, we're just kind of falling asleep again. There we go. Was disagreeing with how I was bending my hip. Well, my hip was disagreeing with how I was bending it. The foot was disagreeing with something else. The foot was disagreeing with being sat on, which I suppose I cannot blame it for in the slightest. Alright. Still just a little tiny bit at the bottom there. But it gets better and better with each little change I make. So I can tell that it'll get there soon. And everything will be fine. I do feel like I am kind of in the home stretch here. Most of this tip looks great. There's just a little bit of thickness right around here. I probably just want it to be rounder than it should be. That sounds like how I've been treating the hair up until now. Alright, and then I think if I pull out the very, very end, just like that, that should fix everything. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. The me of today is satisfied. We'll see how the very picky me of tomorrow feels. But yeah, look at that. It's all just kind of working out. I think it's looking pretty good. And that is where I will end for today. So, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any other creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or at me in the social media of your choice, and I will take a look and maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.